Okay, for today we have our first concept, Total Quality Management, or TQM. While Deming doesn't like the term here, it's basically what Deming came up with to some extent. We have an organizational culture dedicated to training, continuous improvement, and customer satisfaction. So when we're in a state of continuous improvement, we always would need some training because we have new processes, improvements, and things like that. So that goes to the employees, and you see the almighty customer is listed here. So we could boil this down to continuous improvement through employee and customer involvement. Continuous improvement through employee and customer involvement. If we don't include the customer, we don't know what to make. We don't know what works for them, what they prefer, if they know. And if we're going to include the employees, this means the employees have to be engaged, they have to feel comfortable, they have to be fearless. Now, we have this little system that you've probably seen in other classes. It's hard for me to get away from it. We have this right here, which is us and the employees. And we have over here customers. We could have different target markets, different customers. And over here we have the suppliers of the inputs, which could include the employees in a way. But the thing here is our system, we have our system, and it includes our suppliers, our processes, what we do, and the customers. And the key thing here is to not just deliver to the customers and not have them involved in the continuous improvement. We want them involved, so we have to get feedback from the customers that would go into our processes to see if we need to improve anything or what to improve. There's always room for improvement. And the feedback might also go to the suppliers, because if the customers don't like the texture of something or the wearability of something, it would need to go back to the suppliers. So here, again, we have continuous improvement. We have to include the employees. If the employees aren't on board, it ain't gonna work. That's a key principle here. And if we don't include the customers, customer involvement, we don't know what really needs to be improved. So this is what we'd call an open system, including the suppliers as our team members, us, and the customer. So this entails, I just made a quick list here, leadership, not management, not policies and rules and all of that stuff. Yeah, we have procedures, but it's more leadership, not management. We get our customer input to see what they think about things. You go to the grocery, have they ever asked you, did you find what you needed? What did you want that you didn't find? And then we have the employees' input. If the employees aren't engaged, if they're feeding the hog, if they hate the company, none of this is going to work. We got to get the employees on board. We got to get the customers giving us feedback, and then we continuously improve. And with this, no fear, we can have risk. We take risk. To improve, we have to have risk, and sometimes there's going to be failures, but there's no consequences, because we don't want people afraid to try new things. And we have improvements, not numerical goals. And in this class, we do talk about numerical goals and how they can screw people up. So I thought I would include, if you haven't seen it before, Deming's chain reaction. And the question is, should quality cost more? We're not taught, if we improve the quality of something, should the item cost more? Should we have to pay more for it? And we're not talking about turning a Nissan into a Porsche or Ferrari. We're talking about a Nissan that's a better Nissan. So the answer is, should quality cost more? And the answer is no. Here's the chain reaction. We improve quality however we can, baby steps. Maybe you remember the Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle. We make a plan to improve, we try it out, we see if it worked, and then we adopt it or kick it out and start over. And once we keep doing this, we keep getting better and better and better. Now, it might be raw materials, it might be processes. Some things don't add value to products, and we shouldn't do those to begin with. So anyway, we improve quality, and once we improve quality, we decrease costs. How? Well, if you don't screw up, there's less rework, fewer mistakes, better use of everything, better use of machines, better processes, better use of employees. They're not fixing the mistakes, and and better use of time. So we become more productive. And when we become more productive, we're not making mistakes. We're getting it right the first time, although you got to be careful with that statement. We capture the market with better quality at a lower price. Once we do this, we have a better quality product at a lower price. Our reputation goes up because we offered great value, much better value than we did a month ago. We get repeat business, and our market share goes up. So once this happens, just imagine. It's the chain reaction. We stay in business. And his last point here is to provide more and more jobs. Society wins when we do that. Now think of all the imports that come in. I'm thinking of brooms. I bought a broom that I think is locally made, and it doesn't last very long. If they could just improve that broom, then we wouldn't have to import other brooms, and then the broom company could provide more and more jobs. The money's not leaving the country, and everybody wins. The customer wins, the company wins, the employees win, everybody wins. And unemployment's not going to help anybody. So, the Deming chain reaction, should quality cost more? No. If we'd stop making mistakes and making things that people don't want, oh, that's beautiful. We can be more productive, and everybody wins. So, you got to get the employees' involvement, and you got to get the customers' involvement. And we got to do continuous improvement. And then we all win.